Hello and welcome to the Diabetes Army Rebuild podcast. My name is Dan. I am a type 2 diabetic, putting his type 2 diabetes in remission. Former pro athlete. I spent 12 years on the pro wrestling tour. After I retired, I gained about 180 pounds on insulin. I was on over 7,000 units of insulin a month, and have done everything I can to try to put this in remission. So I am down now about 145 pounds. I'm completely off of insulin, bringing down my metformin, and that is my story. So I created this whole Diabetes Army platform, try to create some positivity and some awareness in the type 2 diabetes, the pre-diabetes community, and this is what we've done. So I have a great study. We've changed the format of this podcast. I try to keep them around 10-12 minutes long and get to peer-reviewed studies. So this isn't bro science, this is actual peer-reviewed studies. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to fire off to me. You can follow me on Instagram, Diabetes Army, TikTok, YouTube, wherever. Instagram is probably the best place to message me, but wide open for suggestions, and I can do the research on something that might be playing havoc with you. So I've got this one here. We do a lot of it. I certainly did. I've lost a lot of weight. As I said, I did it on my own. I came up with my own programs. I didn't do it through a healthcare specialist, although I really am a firm believer in you need to be a partner with a good doctor. And also you need to remember that you don't work for your doctor. Your doctor actually works for you. So if you don't think you're getting the best medical advice, feel free to step out of that and go get some medical advice from another doctor and see how they compare. If you don't think that the first one is serving you right, again, you work. Your doctor doesn't. You don't work for your doctor, right? Your doctor works for you. It should be a privilege to have you as a patient. So get the best medical people around you that you can possibly get. So this is an interesting study that I found. This is a primary care led weight management for remission of type 2 diabetes. So this wasn't people just doing this on their own. They actually went through primary care. The study is done, and I'll mention a couple of names here: Allison C. Barnes, Wilma S. Leslie, Michael Edge Lean, George Tom, Carl Peters. So this was a study that was done, and it was done in Scotland. So they've got some kilograms in here, but I've translated it so you can kind of get a perspective of what actually happened. But it's really interesting. So type 2 diabetes is a chronic disorder, we know, requires lifelong treatment. A lot of people think when you batted it down, now you don't have to worry about it. Not true. You've always got to keep your eye on it and keep an eye on your health. I think that's it's very, very important that we do this. So they wanted to do a study to see whether intensive weight management with routine primary care would achieve remission of type 2 diabetes. All right, so here we go. So they did 49 primary care practices in Scotland and in England, right, in the Tyneside region of England. And what they did was they went and they got a group of participants, and the participants were individuals aged 20 to 65 years of age, all right, with type 2 diabetes, diagnosed in the last 6 years, and had a body mass index of 27 to 45 kilograms squared. Well, that would be normal, just so you know, so they were heavy, because normal would be 18.5 to 24.9, and they did 27 to 45. So you can see some of these folks were really heavy. Some were slightly heavy, but they in fact all were heavier than what is considered normal. All right. They comprised the withdrawal of anti-diabetic and antihypertensive drugs. So they took them off of diabetic meds and hypertension meds, right? High blood pressure, in essence. And what they did is they did a diet replacement. So they knocked down their calories daily from 825 to 853 calories. So how would that look? So if you were at 3,000 calories a day, you're going to drop it down 825 calories. And they did that for 3 to 5 months with each individual, okay? And then what they did is they stepped in reintroduction of foods for the next 2 to 8 weeks. And then they put the study together. So the outcome was a weight loss of 15 kilograms or more. 15 kilograms, so that would be about 33 pounds, and remission of diabetes defined as A1C less than 6.5. All right, so this seemed to work, and it was. Let's see, and this is after at least 2 months off of all anti-diabetic meds from baseline to 12 months, all right? So findings, between July 25th, 2014 and August 5th, 2017, they had 306 individuals, 49 interventions, right? 149 participants per group, right? And at 12 months, a weight loss of the 15 kilograms, the 33 pounds. 24, diabetes remission was achieved in, excuse me, 46% of the participants. Again, that's 46% of the participants. Let's run through what they did again. They took them 3 to 5 months. They brought down their calories, 825 to 853 calories a day. They brought that down. And then for 2 to 8 weeks, they slowly introduced calories back in. So they dropped it, introduced calories back in. These folks were losing up to 33 pounds, right? And 46% put their type 2 diabetes in remission. And that's huge. I mean, it's huge. Remission varied with the weight loss in the overall study. And none of the 76 participants who gained weight, some people actually gained weight on that, right? 89% maintained, so 76, 89 maintained, and the rest were in a deficit as far as their weight loss goes. So their findings show that in 12 months, almost half the participants had put their type 2 diabetes in remission, and that's without the diabetes drugs. So it's huge. The effect of weight loss on type 2 diabetes just cannot be understated. I own the Unity Wellness Group. We run a lot of programs with people, and I'll tell you, there's a lot that goes into the weight loss side of it, and that's one of the things we do. We focus on 4 things. We focus on mindset, we focus on nutrition, exercise, and sleep. Sleep's a big, big part of this. And I've done podcasts earlier on sleep, and you can look those up where they've done sleep studies. But what's happening with this is without the weight, your insulin resistance breaks through. Now, I can speak from my own experience on this. Again, I've lost 145 pounds. I put my type 2 diabetes in remission. I was on over 7,000 units of insulin a month. Now, I will say this, you need to do this if you're doing your own program, not with your primary care person, but your own program. You need to do it with your doctor hand in hand, because when I was on 7,000 units of insulin and dropping that number down, I didn't need that much insulin. As a matter of fact, it would have been dangerous for me to stay on that much insulin as I busted through my insulin resistance, because I probably would have hit massive lows. And I wear a CGM. In all fairness, I'm a spokesman for Dexcom. If I wasn't wearing a CGM and getting alerts and alarms going off, it could have been very, very dangerous. So you've got to do this hand in hand with your doctor. But as you bring your weight down, and this study just shows and proves that, what's going to happen is you're going to bust through your insulin resistance, and your opportunity to put your type 2 diabetes in remission is so much more. So weight plays a big, big part of this, and we think that we're just getting healthier. Well, we're getting healthier in a number of ways, mostly metabolical. We're going to feel better. It's going to be less stress on our joints. We're going to be able to get out and enjoy life more, doing a lot of different things. But that study just proves exactly what I went through without that study. Once you start dropping weight, the easier it is to get that diabetes under control and get it in remission. This also would apply to pre-diabetics too, right? You know, let's talk about this for a minute. There's about 92 million pre-diabetics in the US, and 80-90% don't even know they are, right? And there's 23 million type 2 diabetics in the US. And so you combine those numbers, that means any room you're in today, think about this, 50% of that room is either going to be pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, and most people won't know they are. And if that's your family, you might want to start that conversation to get some blood work done. I say this often, right? We get the oil changed on our car, which is a replaceable piece of metal, but we don't want to go get our own blood work done. So we have to start looking at things like this. But that study's huge. It really, really shows the average participant dropped about 33 pounds. And of all the people they studied, 46% were able to put their type 2 diabetes in remission, and that's without meds. And that's a stunning number. So if you pull anything out of this, please understand what your opportunities are, how to do it right. You do it with a doctor or people that actually know. I work hand in hand with my doctor. The people that come into our group, I always make sure that they're checking with their doctor, because I want people to understand where they're at and their doctors to be on board too, right? But this is possible to put this stuff in remission. That study just shows it. I'm a walking, talking example of it, and there you have it. So hopefully I gave you something to think about today. And you might have this conversation with family members yourself if you're having some people over for dinner or something like this on the weekend. Just put some thought into this and see if there's anything that you might be able to do to get your own conversation going. Again, I started this to create conversations about such things, and hopefully you're going to do the same thing. You can follow me over on Instagram. It's the best place to send me a message. I respond to everyone, and I'd be happy to hit you back. I'm on TikTok. I do a lot of live streaming when I do cardio exercise on TikTok. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram, YouTube. I put on workout videos and all kinds of things on YouTube. So I'm all over the place with this type 2 diabetes, and I really continue to create positivity and some awareness in this community so we can all get this thing happening together. And let's steer towards getting healthier and happier and living a longer, healthier, happier life. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Diabetes Army Rebuild, and my name is Dan, and please follow along for our peer-reviewed studies.